Peter, this is our sponsor, Cycling Frog. It's seltzer. It's seltzer with pot in it. And you know how I know it works? Because I'm holding the can upside down.
I saw that.
Cyclingfrog.com. Use the code SUM for stand-up memories, and you will get a discount. And you will love this stuff. 5 milligram or 2 milligram size. It's fantastic. Cyclingfrog.com.
Get buzzed without the alcohol. Here it is right side up.
Oh.
This is going to be a great episode of Stand-Up Memories.
You told me you were going to practice doing the opening, and you did it. You did
I
very
did it
well.
exactly right.
Now do it for real. We're not rolling.
Stand-Up Memories. I'm Peter Bales. This is Jackie the Joke Man Martling, and our guests are the Bonavitas. We have Claudia Bonavita and
You
John.
guys got married?
Yes.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Claudia Bonavita and John Bonavita. Now, what does Bonavita, that wonderful Italian name, mean?
Look at this. That kind of kills a fantasy I had going.
First of all, okay, she has an injury. We'll ask about that in a second.
Okay.
But first, tell us what Bonavita means.
In Italian, it means good life. We've been together
What's it mean in English?
42 years.
Yeah,
Have you really?
Yeah, I keep asking him when the good life's going to start.
How many years?
42 years.
42
At the end of this month is 42 years of our first date.
Wow. And where was your first date?
Sizzler.
Sizzler! Oh,
Which
right.
And
is not around anymore.
he took the silk rose off the table. I still have it.
Oh, now,
All right, I got the next question. Who paid?
He did. He did. Even better story, we live in the house that he grew up in for not all of his life, but since he was 16. So I actually sleep in the room that I lost my virginity in.
oh, man!
So you're really moving along in
Yeah.
life.
Oh, yeah. We're progressing.
That's fantastic.
Do you still drive the same
So
car that
he
you
was
did it
out.
the second time?
Yeah, no.
Who'd you lose your virginity to?
It wasn't him, no. It was him.
Ah,
Now, they are a married couple. They have done comedy as a team. Claudia and John have both done stand-up comedy
but as a team?
as a team, and they do it individually as well. Claudia, you're out there more than John is.
Yes, yes.
Now, John, you're retired.
Now wait a minute. If you guys are a comedy act, how could you be out there more than him? Do you just leave
I do
early
it by
and leave him
myself.
home?
No, I perform
A
by
separate
myself.
thing.
Yeah,
Ah.
a separate thing.
Yeah, it's her thing. It's her thing. I joined in. I like it, but it's not my thing. I'm more of a theater person.
Yeah, I understand. You
And
know,
he-
George Carlin dropped Jack Burns at some point. He
There you go.
wanted to get anywhere.
There you go.
You know.
It's true.
But John is a high-level executive who is now retired and living the good life. Tell everybody where you work.
Well, I worked for the town of Babylon, and I worked at the Resource Recovering Environmental Control. So basically, I worked at the dumps. That's where I worked. The
But
dumps.
you were doing good work.
Yes, good work. Yeah, I was a
And-
supervisor.
And
Believe it
he
or not.
would bring gifts home that he would
my
find,
God.
and it kept the relationship alive all those years.
So if John said to you, "I'm down in the dumps," you'd say,
Yes.
"Oh, you're working."
You work.
That's
How many times you heard that joke?
Yeah.
You're like, "That must
That's
got
awesome.
so old so quick."
Yes.
Wow.
yes.
Now, but they started in stand-up at a place that we really shouldn't mention until Jackie can't stand it anymore. Where did you start? In
Stand Up University.
Stand-up University.
Rich Walker and Peter Bales.
Ah, isn't that
Oh.
impressive?
Yeah, it's.
If I had another shirt, I would pour my coffee on my head. He's a
Stand-Up
good guy. He's a
University.
good guy.
Yes.
StandUpUniversity.com. I got the plug-in if you want to start
So
out.
you guys said, "Let's experiment with
Well, what
comedy."
happened
and
was we went to a fundraiser. Okay, went to a fundraiser, and on the table at the fundraiser was this, I guess,
Brochure.
for Stand Up U. So she says, "You know what? When I retire, I would like to try it. She's always been funny, whatever." So I said, "All right." I took it, put it in my pocket, and that following Christmas, I gave it to her as a gift. And sure enough, boom.
Now wait, did you do it The two of you?
No, so I
No,
took
no,
it.
first
I
time.
went to standupuniversity.com. Stand Up University, the first time by
Thank you.
myself.
I gave it 20 bucks.
Then John and I went together as a couple to standupuniversity.com.
Thank you.
And we went
Thank you.
together.
You took the
and
course
then
as a couple?
A third time, he went by himself and performed by himself.
That's so you soaked these guys pretty good. I've never heard of you having a two-man.
We have.
I think that's fun. That's great. So
It's hard to be a
bantering
team.
back and forth as a couple, or
Yeah,
Yes.
back and forth as a couple. Basically, she got on me, I got on her, and a little back and forth. It was nice. It's fun, but again,
after
it's
42
hurting.
years, if you're still getting up back and forth on top of each other, that's pretty good.
We still do pretty good.
So that's great. So, but were you working? I mean, were you getting
So
gigs?
I was, so this is crazy. And I did the class, and you have graduation, and there was a woman sitting in the audience who owned a theater. And when it was all over, she came up to me and said, I'm having a comedy show in a month. Will you be on it? So I left with a paying gig, which I think is kind of crazy.
Wow, it's never
And
happened
then-
to him.
Well, there you go. And so
So,
then,
what theater? Give her a plug.
oh, South Shore Theater Experience in Lindenhurst.
Nice.
Yes. And so I did their comedy show, and then from there I met different bookers and promoters, and I just started to perform. So I perform almost every single month I'm somewhere.
That's
Wow,
nice.
that's
Next week
great.
is insane, but other than that,
Insane meaning two.
3 comedy shows and then something else that I'm doing that I'll be in Boston for.
All right.
That's great.
Now they do something really, really nice. They perform at 55 and older facilities, which are assisted living,
Assisted living.
And nursing
even
homes.
Okay, so it's even older. Most.
Yes.
Okay, and they perform a special show for people in assisted living. How nice is that? And I want to give credit. Dennis Wolfberg was the first one in the early 80s who made the joke about it's so nice to perform for assisted living patients because it's such a pleasure to really nail a joke and detach a woman from her oxygen tube. That kind of joke has become stock now, but Dennis Wolfberg was the first one to say that in the early 80s. I've done shows for assisted living, done great. They appreciate it. One time after the show, I was walking in my car in the parking lot. 2 guys with white coats grabbed me to take me back to my room. Have you ever performed
That's
for...
my fantasy. No, I just did one of those, and they threw me. I almost killed a woman. I was standing on her oxygen.
There you go.
No, I've never, and I always wanted to do those. I can't get in because my jokes are too dirty, but I always wanted to do the 55 and older thing. Because 55, I couldn't even tell you who was president when I turned 55. I'm 76, and I'd love to do that.
Well, those places are more older. They say 55. but
Yeah,
for
I
the most
know
part.
they would love the dirty jokes. And those places have, truth be told, they've turned into, whorehouses.
Yes.
They used to be nice and relaxed, and then Viagra hit, and the women are like, who invented this? I thought I had the rest of my life
Exactly.
off,
Exactly.
The diseases are rampant, and it's crazy, but
It
they're
is.
worried about me telling a dirty joke. I'm like, come on.
Now,
Well,
when
we don't
you-
just do comedy there, though. We
They
do other
sing.
things. We sing.
We sing. We do like different shows. What we do is we bring back nostalgia, I guess. We do like let's
TV
say
theme
TV
songs.
theme songs, and it's
So we do a
great
whole
because
hour.
You see them react to like Green Acres or
I, I would
or-
react to that. I love that.
Love Boat.
There used to be, and there still is, a comedy booker in Philadelphia, and he started every show with that goddamn Gilligan's Island.
We
thing.
do Gilligan's
But
Island.
99% of the people would sing along with
It's
every
amazing.
word. I'm like,
They know
but Andy,
every
that's
word."
not comedy, you schmuck.
But
It's enjoyable. But
I can imagine people.
3 hours to shut up.
Well, based upon that, I think people would tear up and get emotional hearing those songs. I would. Can you guys right now, for the audience,
Jeez.
and we have young people and old people watching and everything in between, bring us back to Green Acres.
Ready?
Come on, please.
Green Acres is a place to be. Farm living is a life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside. New York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling hay. I just adore that penthouse view. Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue.
Now, have we ever...
I have a question. What was the name of the pig on Green Acres?
Oh, I know this.
Arnold.
Arnold.
No, Ava Gabor.
Oh, but
I love it. That's
Jackie the
great.
Joke Man, ladies and gentlemen.
I couldn't tell that joke for the last 50 years.
That's awesome.
That was very good. That was very exciting.
What we do also with the songs and with the we trivia just like that. You know.
So we
what's
bring a
the pig's
TV, a
name?
big screen TV, and we have a whole PowerPoint so they can actually see the theme song,
That's
see the lyrics and sing along, and then we have very simple.
Wait till ASCAP
Trivia.
catches you. You're in trouble.
What was it? There was Fred and Arnold Ziffel.
Right, Ziffel.
Yes.
Right, Fred and Arnold Ziffel. Then it was Mr. Haney.
I
I
just
got
had one
my
on the truck.
Right?
See that? That's Hawthorne.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a friend
I
Dave
just watched
Hawthorne.
one on the truck.
that's it.
Now, here's a joke I tried in my act that bombed so badly. I only did it for...
that one.
I only did it for
Only
10
one.
years before I dropped it. The owner of the pig, it was Fred and Arnold Ziffel. And one time I met a girl and she asked me, what religion are you? And I said, I'm a Ziffelite. I worship Fred and Arnold Ziffel. And it would bomb every night, which is why I share that
But
joke.
you felt completely at home dragging our show to a complete halt. This is my
But I
partner,
think-
the college comedy professor.
But I think that every generation has these shows, and they're indelibly impressed upon your mind and your soul.
But do you think it's just like the songs from the 60s? You know, the people, they keep singing them. You know, I don't know, are people singing songs that are theme songs from the 80s and 90s? You know, those sitcoms from the 60s, I think they were indelible. Maybe more people was,
They don't have
people watch
theme
the same
songs like
shows
that.
week after week after week, you know. It was
Yeah.
True, maybe Happy Days, but that was from,
Happy Days was
yeah,
is
it's
not as
more-
old
right,
as the
right.
As,
Right.
right,
Well,
the
all
era
right.
it was displayed.
Well, I've been
was
wrong.
Happy
representing.
Days took place in the 50s.
right, right.
No, I'm sorry. Wait, it took place in the 60s. 60s. Took
Okay.
place in the 60s. It was early 60s, but it was a 50s show because it was before 63 when the Beatles hit and the Kennedy assassination, when the decade became the 60s.
Gotcha.
So it's an interesting, and tell me, watch me make Jackie mad.
fortunately not funny.
No,
Yeah.
sometimes we do intellectual material, but you know what I mean. The
Yeah.
decade of the 60s before 63 was still the 50s.
It was Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon
Exactly.
and Yorn. You know.
Exactly.
You know,
But
the most exciting thing was doing your push-ups and pull-ups to be
Jack
in
LaLanne.
John F. Kennedy's President's Council for Youth
remember
Fitness.
the President's Council for Youth Fitness?
That guy he got me in good shape. You know,
No kidding.
didn't do a lot for him.
Well, you gotta do Happy Days.
I remember.
He wants us to sing Happy Days.
Oh
Now,
my
the FDR one.
No. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, rock. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, rock. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Get your rag, rag,
Okay,
on.
that's great. That's come on, the memories.
Bill Haley, I love it. I do love it.
Bill Haley and the Comets.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Another show we do, believe it or not, and gets them going.
And we have an
is-
hour.
Is commercials.
We play
Plop,
old
plop,
fizz, fizz. And you
They
have
know them all. It's
My
amazing
girlfriend-
And you
to
have
me.
to see, there's like people who are very, impaired in the nursing home, and as soon as you play
it
plop,
wakes 'em
plop,
up.
plop,
They're like-
plop,
they
fizz,
start- they
fizz,
start
like,
singing.
yeah,
Oh my
great
God.
job
My
singing.
girlfriend is only 7 years younger than me, but 7 years is a huge gap when you're a kid.
Yeah.
And I'll start singing a song or start doing an advertisement from the 50s, and she thinks I'm making it up. But by God bless the Google, I start singing Charlie from the MTA or the Battle of New Orleans by Johnny Horton.
I remember that.
These
Well, one of the things we
crazy
do is
songs.
Choo Choo Charlie. Remember that? Choo
Yeah,
Choo
yeah.
Charlie was an engineer.
It's like Good and Plenty, right?
Yeah,
Plenty,
good
yes,
and plenty.
plenty.
But it sounds like you're making it up, and then all of a sudden, you pull it up on the screen, and it's just instant nostalgia. You know, one of the most fun things I ever had when I was at college, my roommate's nephew turned him on to George of the Jungle, which was
Yes.
this ridiculous cartoon by Jay What's-His-Face, the guy that did Bullwinkle, Rocky and Bullwinkle. And every Saturday morning, we'd get up hungover and go down to the rec room and sit there and watch that stupid George of the Jungle and then the Beatles cartoon. It was such a nice memory. And then I saw, years and years later at the TV museum in the city, they were having a weekly retrospective of the Jay Ward cartoons. So I said, I got to go see George of the Jungle, see if it's as good as I remembered. And I went and I guess I sat through 3 or 4 or 5 of them. But what was so great is they not only played, but they played them as they aired. So the exact commercials, and it's amazing how ingrained the commercial, they drained Lake Michigan and filled it up with water, and Captain Crunch dove into it. It's like, oh my God,
Right.
the idiocy,
Amazing.
You know what my brother gave me for Christmas last year?
the finger.
That. But the most popular toy one year, I think it was the early 60s. I was pretty young to be asking for this. You guys ever heard of Mr. Machine?
No.
Mr. Machine, no.
Hey, everybody at
Oh,
home.
is it that thing where you can see the inside
Yes,
gears?
yes, yes.
And you could see the gears
Yes,
working.
it was
Yes,
like-
I do
it
know
was
that.
Like the pet
That,
rock
is
of
that the invisible,
Yes.
the visible man?
Well, pretty much because it was clear.
It was clear, and you could see the gears, and he would and he would walk.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
thought you were gonna
classic
say
toys
Slinky
are.
or something.
You had,
like
you had
that.
no childhood, Peter. My God.
What was a classic toy when you were growing up? Maybe a rock.
I'm Robbie the Robot, mechanical man. Wind me up. I'll walk as fast as I can.
Mine was a hippity hop.
A hippity hop. All right.
Now that got me through puberty.
Jeez. My God. Now we're all stuck back. So, when you guys do comedy clubs, is that the act you do at a comedy club?
No, so we do different. Now, when we do comedy, we have actual jokes that we do. But the thing we do at the nursing homes and assisted living, we're Mr. and Mrs. Good Life. So it's a whole different
I'm
thing.
sure they just go. I'm sure anybody would go nuts to that.
Mr. and Mrs. Good Life.
Life, yes.
.com. Do you have the .com?
No,
You-
we
you've got-
don't.
oh,
We don't.
how do they book?
Well, we have like a manager.
Oh, you have a
so-
manager.
yes.
Okay. You don't.
So
need that.
you
AMV
bowed out.
Entertainments.
Do you go to her gigs? Or
Oh yeah, most of them, not all of them, but most of them. It depends where the gig is. If it's a bar.
No, if there's a
I'll go.
Yankee game
Well, if there's a
playing.
Yankee game, I won't go.
Right,
good,
They've
good.
got priorities,
That's
So you're up
dedication.
there on your own,
Yes.
firing away.
And half of my jokes are about him.
She kills me the whole
Of course.
But he sits in the front row and laughs. He's such a good supporter.
There's nothing funnier
is.
than, and they'll always be funny. I don't want to make it about me, but there's nothing funnier. When you're a little kid, I'm a joke guy, so I always love jokes. Jokes. It had nothing to do with comedy, just jokes. And Henny Youngman was funny because he's a big, silly guy with the violin, blah, 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 and his jokes were relatively funny. But the older you got, the funnier he got. Because all those relationship jokes, you live them. And all the frustrations with the wife or the wife with the husband
Right.
just gets funnier and funnier and funnier until your head's going to explode.
We'd be driving in the car, and I'd say something that I didn't know was funny. She'd stop the car and write stuff down.
That's what you have to
I have
do.
a notepad in my
says,
phone.
I'm like, oh my God. And then sure as shit, 2 weeks later, she's trying it out at an open mic or at a gig, slipping it in. It's amazing.
It's real life. I have lived a couple of Henny Youngman jokes. My wife and I, of course, at some point, were not getting along, my ex-wife. And I was on the Stern Show, so I couldn't go away all the time. And I said, go ahead, go to Jamaica for a week. And she said, sure. So cell phones had just come out, when you had the box or whatever, the monstrosity thing. And I took her to JFK, and I was on my way home, and I got a call on my cell phone. And I answered, and whoever it was said, where are you? I said, I'm coming back from a pleasure trip. I just took my wife to the airport. You know, classic Kenny Youngman joke that I had just because I'm like, wow, I got the house room. You know.
These old comics.
Watch it.
Sorry. These, I'm sure you did. I don't know if you did. I did. I opened for Henny Youngman. He was out there, and he was funny. He kept to himself. He was very funny, and I swear, in the last month, I had a dream. And dreams are just weird. And I was hanging out with Jerry Cooney, the boxer, at the old East Side Comedy Club on Jericho Turnpike, and it had to have been the 80s, the early 80s. And Jerry Cooney turned to me in the dream, and he said, as a boxer, I have a great rabbit punch, but they won't let me fight rabbits. Jerry Cooney did a Henny Youngman joke to me in my dream. And then I woke up, and I don't know what it means because I'm not a therapist. But I think it means something very, very deep.
It means that Jerry should be doing comedy and you should retire. I think that's it.
That's
funny. He told that joke in your...
He had a joke book. He would sell his joke book after his shows, if you can imagine something so crass.
This is in real life, or this is...
This is
Henny
Youngman sold his and signed his...
Oh, I thought you meant Jerry Cooney.
Jerry Cooney didn't have a joke book. We're not communicating.
Henny Youngman had a grandson who had a drug habit. And Henny Youngman used to advertise in either Variety or Backstage or something, send me $1, I'll send you jokes. And if you send him $1, he would send a page of jokes. And his grandson and his friends would all rip open the envelopes and take all the dollars and go buy heroin.
Oh, God.
Those poor people. I never got my goddamn jokes. He was a great character. He was a great character.
And what was that movie where he came walking through and out on stage? That it was one
Goodfellas.
of the Goodfellas. It was Goodfellas. Yes.
I actually have it's certainly not a billboard. I was working at the Raleigh in the Catskills, and those stupid things that are they're like felt or whatever, and the letters push
they
into
go in,
them,
yes,
yeah.
and it says Henny Youngman, Milton Berle, Jackie Martling, because I was working the midnight shift to nobody, and they were in the main room. But I had equal billing.
But you got your name up there, right?
Yes, yes.
But who
That's great.
influenced you? I love Henny Youngman. Who influenced you guys?
I would say Joan Rivers. I love Joan Rivers, but I like Carol Burnett. I loved sitcoms. I loved I Love Lucy. I loved those type of comedians. I mean, I love stand-up, but I like sitcoms.
I loved Carol. I just could not get enough of Corman and
Harvey Korman and Tim Conway. Tim Conway.
Just pee.
And I love the way they used to crack each other up. That's like...
But the most
Classic.
talent on the show was Lyle Wagner.
Jesus. My mother told me, people say, what are your influences, blah, blah, blah. My mother told me her favorite thing was Tuesday nights watching me watch Red Skelton.
Red Skelton.
Yeah.
Because I would die. I would just die because he laughed at himself and he was having the time of his life. And I would just roar at that, But who knows?
How about you, John? Who did?
Well, of course, like everybody else, I love George Carlin.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Absolutely.
He's amazing. And, probably the first comedy album I ever bought was George Carlin.
Yes.
Like Class Clown or something?
Yeah. I don't remember, but I meant 7 Words You Can't Say on TV and all that whole, it was,
So where did you guys meet?
So I was 17,
school?
he was 24.
What
That's
happened was,
is that
So-
illegal?
Yeah,
well,
well,
at the
it was a long, 42 years ago.
what happened was I did a lot of theater, and her mom, terrific actress, terrific. And we were doing a show together, and I got to meet her, became friendly with her mom.
Fast forward.
Doing a show in a
Friendly with your mom is not
Nah,
important.
No. He didn't know her in the biblical sense.
Okay.
Fast forward, I'm doing a show at a park, believe it or not, and who pulls up? Dottie, her mom. Claudia gets out of the car, and I'm like, "Hey, Dottie, how are you?"
So
we
he's
start
kissing
talking.
my mother through the window. I'm like, who is this
good to see
guy?
us. I said, "What are you doing here?" She goes, "Oh, my daughter's in the show." I go, "Oh, I'm in the show." And I said, "Listen, Dottie," I saw she had like a mini skirt on. I was like, I said, "Dottie, you should come here."
Sold.
Yeah,
Sold.
you should have come here at 10 o'clock at night. I'll drive her home. and that was it. And then
And so the whole summer we drove together.
Aw.
And then we fell in
That's
love. But it's
funny.
funny. Funny thing is,
that
he
is-
had no idea how old I was. So we're driving in the car. He's got his arm around me, and he goes, "So when do you go back to school?" So I said, "September."
I'm thinking,
Isn't,
I'm thinking
isn't that
college.
late? Isn't
So
that
I'm sa-
late?
I'm saying that's late. All my friends that are going back to school are going like,
August, the end of August.
They got to get their dorms. I go, where do you go to school? She
I
goes,
said, West
West
Babylon.
Babylon.
He goes, "There ain't no college in West
Then I'm thinking, I
Babylon.
hope there's
How
like a
old are
technical
you?"
school or something that she's going to. I didn't know.
And then John settled down and he said to himself, I've had younger.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Jackie, get ready to be impressed.
I already am. I love these two.
Yeah, you're great.
Thank you.
Claudia and you as well are involved in a documentary. She has a documentary, and it's called Day by Night, Working to Make People Laugh. And I'll hand it off to her, but I'll just say it's award-winning, and it's about comedians who have a second aspect, a second part of their life that you
Like a
can't
peculiar
believe.
job,
Like a peculiar
Or
job.
day, yeah.
A day job, and you can't believe these people are comedians. So, Claudia, start with give us one who really struck you.
Hold that up, Peter.
Ah,
This is by day by night, working to make people laugh. A terrific documentary. Where can they watch it?
so right now it's in film festivals, and I'm doing
Okay.
that film festival thing first before
Okay.
I look for any distribution.
All right.
And so that's where we're at the moment. So it's submitted to many film festivals, and some film festivals don't want it to be distributed in order to be able to be in their
It's a
film
whole
festival.
thing.
So
Yeah,
it's
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 amazing
a
that,
whole
the
culture.
I have a
rules and stuff.
documentary that we didn't put up for so long because we're trying to get, and some film
And I
festivals,
saw it.
you can't get in
Yes.
if you've been in other, it's a
Exactly,
whole,
right.
the
Yes,
dance.
yes.
And finally, you said, "To hell with you. Let's just find, you want somebody to see it."
To see it.
Exactly.
Yes.
So go on. I didn't mean
So
to-
no, that's okay. So just a little background. I'm a special ed teacher by trade, 32 years in special education. I know nothing about film, know nothing about making a film. And I knew this young man who had gone to film school, and I called him up with an idea, and I was all over the place. And he's, Claudia, stop. He's 20-something years old. Stop. One theme, one idea, call me back. And I'm like, ooh, here's this 20-something-year-old. So I call him back with the idea. He goes, write a treatment. What the hell is a treatment? Sure, I hang up. I've learned never to say no. I say yes to everything. And then I go figure it out. So
Right.
that's what I did. I said yes, and I
Can you
looked
pitch
up
a Can you
online.
throw a curveball?
I
Of
probably
course.
ask him. I could probably do it. So I looked up how to write a treatment. I looked up how to make a documentary. I took some online things and courses, and then I wrote the treatment. I showed it to him, and he said, "Let's go." So I have one woman who works for Adult Protective Services by day. And people don't even know adult protective services exist. They know child protective services. So that was interesting.
Actually,
to hear.
one time, because of Jackie, I contacted them.
Them, yes, for abuse. I have, that's Donna Moran. I have Ellen Orchid, who is a psychiatrist who did her work at Albert
Donna
Einstein.
Moran, like
Yes,
my
yes.
Donna
Yes,
Moran?
yes,
Yes.
like your Donna Moran. Don't think we don't know all the scuttlebutt. So yeah, come to my
thanks for the-
podcast and I'll
There
tell
is
you
no
the whole
scuttlebutt.
story.
I wish there was. I loved her.
Okay, still love it. She moved to Oregon, by the way.
We got to edit
So,
that.
Ellen Orchid, who is a psychiatrist in New York City and worked the overnights in psychiatric hospitals, and she also has a PhD in neuroscience, and she's an amazing comedian. I have Mitch Shapiro, who is deaf and blind and does comedy. He has 2 cochlear implants, and he is the CEO and founder of Help America Here, where he raises money for people to afford hearing aids. And then, so that's a very, different aspect. And then I have Lou Pratz, who is the nephew of Red Buttons, did you know that?
I did not know that.
Okay, he is the nephew of Red Buttons, and he is the supervisor of the court clerks in Nassau County Criminal Court. So we were able to film the courtrooms, film the jails,
pretty
and
cool.
he told
So
some.
this is a whole cornucopia of
Yes, and then
column
the
A,
last.
column B, column
Yes,
C.
the last is Bernie Collins, and she's a minister and a missioner. She did world mission all over the world, and so we have her pictures, her stories. Each one, it's in 3 acts because we come from theater. I made it in 3 acts. In the first act, they describe their jobs, and many of them have really funny stories. We've animated some of the stories is animation.
film, yeah.
The middle is, you know, how they got their start in comedy, and the end you see 5-minute segments of them doing comedy.
Now, did you have?
And wait, the end of my movie, there is a thank you. And when Peter finally comes to see the documentary, he will see his name on the screen where it says thank you to Peter Bales and Rich Walker. But, you
Now
know,
you-
he
now
didn't
you gotta
come see
see
it
it.
yet. So now he's got to
I
come
gotta
see
know
it.
where. When is?
Yeah, next time.
We'll have to,
You'll let
well,
me know.
next week it's in Boston. You're not flying to Boston.
All right.
But
Fast forward.
By day, by night, working to make people laugh. What a terrific idea.
I have to ask you: is this self-funded?
yes.
'Cause
yes. I
animation
did
and
do
all
a
that stuff, you
I
know.
did a GoFundMe, and we raised some, but maybe like a fifth of what it cost. But I'll tell you, my son watched the movie, did not see anything going on other than he knew I was making a movie. And he came to the premiere and sat in a real, you know, Sayville movie theater, and he sat next to me and he said, wow, this is a real movie. Mom, you made a real movie. There's animation.
That's
Who did
cool.
the animation? You know, you got original music and what? And the whole time he was just blown away.
That's
What
great.
was
Made me
wild,
feel good.
as the people were coming in to do the movie, people thought
Rich.
we were gonna have like a cell phone and like you know, we had cameras,
had a
the
set.
boom, we had the whole.
Where
thing.
did you shoot?
All different places, wherever they work, but we also shot at the Claire Rose Playhouse, which is a playhouse on the campus of St. Joseph's University.
They
I'm also a
went
professor
on
there.
location to Sizzler
Yes.
out of just
Is
memory.
that Sizzler's? Where was it?
No.
Oh, it was by what? The
Massapequa Mall.
Massapequa
Is it
Mall.
still there?
No,
No,
Sizzler's
no.
been out of
Sizzler's
business
out
for
for a long
years.
time. Hand me that can. This is big time podcasting. What, you're going to be impressed. Hand me this. This is on the recommendation of Jackie the Joke Man Martling. I am going to try this. I am going to try this absolutely. He's tried it. This is called the Cycling Frog Cannabis Company. And this is THC seltzer, THC and CBD. And according to Jackie, it makes you feel really good.
It's
all different
terrific
flavors.
seltzer infused with THC. There's like 6 different flavors, and it's very gentle. You know, it's like anything. You know, you drink one, you feel a little bit better. You can drink 5 of them. You know, it's like you can have a beer, or you can drink 6 beers, whatever you want to do. But it's so refreshing and it's so good. And
And the perfect name, Cycling Frog Cannabis Company. On the front of the can, they were high when they got this.
I would love to see the list of
There's
names
a
that they ruled out.
There's a frog cycling, an old-fashioned 1890s bicycle, and this is got to be the.
And you
this
know
is-
it's 1890s because you were there?
No, because I'm an expert in things like that.
You know what? I just got an idea, and it's too late now, but we will get a couple cases of this and give samples to each
We're
of
going
our
to give
guests.
samples to our guests.
You can't have this one. This is my dessert.
Anyway, Cycling Frog Cannabis Company, seltzer. Oh, THC seltzer, go for it. Be there. Aloha. You know, you guys.
I want to see this movie. Will you
wanna
make that
see-
happen? Can
Yes,
you make
we'll
that
go,
happen?
we'll go together the next time they tell me. that-
Sitting next to you is enough, but if you come see my movie, I will pass out. But that's okay.
I
I'm
will,
a little
and I will
starstruck.
not take advantage of you. Because
Okay.
There's every chance
And
he'll be there.
these are a good size to sneak into a theater.
There you
There you
go.
go.
And,
Segue.
And that would help probably with the screening.
There you go.
All right. Well, listen, you guys are a delight. The Bonavitas. All right.
Where do you work regularly? We'll give you a plug.
Me personally, I'm a professor at St. Joseph's University now.
No, where,
Yes.
where do
About your
you,
next
Yes.
grade.
That's
My
it.
comedy. So Sunday night, I'm going to be at the Vineyards in Santa Mauritius. Wednesday night, I'm in Bright Waters at the Cigar Bar. And Thursday, there's a restaurant in Massapequa, and I wish I knew the name. but
She
I
is working
forgot.
more than I am. This
But
is
different place.
This
It's
is
not
just
one
wrong.
place where you
No,
are.
and then Tuesday night, my movie will be at the Rockwell Theater in Somerville, Massachusetts, as a screening.
That's so.
Wow.
I just came from Saugus, Massachusetts. I love it up there. Love it up there.
We're looking forward to it. You know,
All
I
right.
love-
Did
I
you
love
say
that.
you guys are from? You live in Lindenhurst?
West Babylon.
West Babylon. I'm originally from Brooklyn, but then I moved.
Oh,
to
you're from Brooklyn originally. What a shocker.
You can't tell from his accent.
You know, whatever.
This has been Claudia and John Bonavita, which means
Good life.
life. And they are out there doing so many things. Congratulations on everything.
Thank
and
you.
I've been Peter Bales.
And I've been Jackie Martling, and this was terrific. You guys
Excellent.
are
Thank you.
an inspiration in many
Great.
ways, and
Thank
I'm
you.
not just saying that. I mean,
Oh,
Thank you.
that's nice. And,
very,
and
very nice.
That's very nice, Jackie, and
I
rare.
wish I could say the same for you, but not so much.
That moment there, that tender moment, is rare coming from you, and it's special.
When I feel it, I express myself. It's that simple.
See us again on Stand
I'm
Up.
allowed.
You are allowed on Stand
I
Up.
really do want to see that. That sounds very, you know.
I was so close.
You just want to see Donna Moran.
Oh, I didn't realize you.
No, she's actually
She's
she's
in it.
actually
Okay.
The when you make a documentary, it makes you want to see others.
Yes,
You know what
it's
I mean?
true. Very true.
It's very interesting because you realize how much goes into it, and then it flies by. You know?
We'll see you
I
next
never
time.
realized.
We'll see you next time on Stand Up Memory.